Alright, so I'm not going to take up any of your time by me talking here, but if you like this video, definitely leave a like down below and tell me what you think about the front. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the trailer right now, and then I'll highlight anything important, and then we'll go ahead and just jump straight into the rewards, because damn, there are a lot of them.
I am Zook. I have been a chieftain, a gladiator, a warlord, a demigod. I was born into a world where all were free. Then the Empire came, conquered my people, threw me into the pits. I was to die there. Nothing could challenge me. Demons, dragons, and vampires fell to my blade. From the great tribune Torva, I won back my freedom. I went in search of worthier foes. Beneath a distant volcano, I found the ultimate arena. The Tok'ha, who shaped the mountains at the dawn of time, battled endlessly. They fell all the same. They called me Tzakal, champion of the fire. The first outsider to defeat them all. For my prize, I claimed the Elder Kiln itself. For centuries, it changed me. I became undying. Like Tok'ha, I am born again within the kiln. Unlike Tok'ha, my mind is my own. The God Wars called to me. The Tok'ha would not follow, but the lava beasts would. We carved through the weak surface dwellers effortlessly. It was only Bandos himself who stopped me. Coward. He chained me within the kiln. When Ful needed an army, she had no use for the failed Tok'ha. They were remade, artisans reforged into soldiers. Now they are the Tzek'ha, united in purpose. They serve without question, mine to command. Ful wants the eggs, but I pay no heed to her desires. I seek only the glory of combat. Is anyone in this alliance worthy? Refuse me, and your world will end.
So, obviously, I think the question on everyone's lips is we have Skull Zook. He's an old school character that people know. So, what's going on with that?
All right, so let me just go ahead and paraphrase here a little bit just to save you like 36 minutes of your time. Basically, you crawl into a hole in the ground that the lava boys, whatever they're called, the Saget or something, had dug. It's in the city of Sensen. You go down and basically you're being confronted with another Elder Kiln style content, right? Go in there, you defeat a whole bunch of waves, which will have checkpoints, and then basically you're just battling to get to Zuck at the very end. Now the Zuck fight is not going to be the exact same as it is on old school. He's actually going to fight with you and interact and that sort of thing throughout the whole battle. And if you die during the fight, that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get anything from it. As I said earlier, there are checkpoints which allow you to kind of save up your loot. Overall, I think the city looks super cool, but honestly, who cares about all of that when you look at the freaking rewards? And oh my god, there are so many rewards.
First thing we need to start with is that insane sword. What's Splash, do you want to introduce us to this new tier 95 weapon?
I suppose. So this is the X-Zek kill. It means something in Tsar. I'll let players figure that out. Big effing sword, basically. Tier 95, as we said. It is an obsidian weapon, which means the Berserker Necklace does work with it. Special attack, Igneous Cleave. It hits for a chunk of damage, and then also puts a bleed on the target. This bleed hits pretty well, and the damage it deals increases the longer it goes on. But also, every time the target is hit by another bleed or a burn, the bleed extends up to 5 times. So you're gonna slash at this thing, get it bleeding, and then you or your teammates will use more bleeds, more burns, and this is gonna be a big bleed, like doing mega damage. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the sword.
And you said how many parts it takes to make it, right? You were talking about getting parts from hard mode.
3 pieces, very much like Ambi. You'll get them in an order, depending on which one you start with.
So I think we can't talk about any sort of, fight kiln-esque content, obviously in a very different style. We mentioned a little bit earlier about this too, the best cape in the game, and you can't do an experience like this without it. So there's actually, and you probably got a glimpse of this in the trailer, 4 of them, right? Do you want to start showcasing those for us, Ramen?
Cool, so tier 95 two-handed melee. There is no bow, by the way, for everybody who was speculating. But range is going to get a buff, you'll see that later. And then they wanted to unveil the capes. And yeah, chat wasn't too thrilled about the appearance.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to walk us through these, Mod Ryan, or?
Yeah, so something, of course, as people are familiar with from the kiln, there were 3 capes: the magic, the mage, the range, and the melee capes. So we focused on recreating that here, to have one for each style, and also you can see from what Raman's showing you, the same colors, so the green, the purple, and the red. And yeah, so this cape requires you to have completed normal mode, I believe without any checkpoints, to gain the item required to upgrade the capes from the kiln. So you still need the kiln cape before you're able to obtain this one, so you have to combine them together. Do you have, Raman, do you have the final one? We will talk about them in more detail in a second. And here is, this is the combined version, which is, you must complete the hard mode encounter flawlessly to be able to combine all 3 of the capes to basically create the hybrid version. So this is the cape to wear, and it requires you to, I know I just mentioned it, but just to, you must have completed the entire encounter flawlessly in hard mode. So
a couple of people in the chat are asking for clarification on exactly what flawlessly means.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, flawlessly means no checkpoints, and also something else, but it's not really worth trying to discuss because you don't know the fight. So yeah,
each also empower an ultimate ability for their associated style. As an example, melee, it reduces the adrenaline cost of overpower and causes it to hit twice. So that's a lot of damage. Magic boosts Omni power by reducing its cost to 60% and causing it to hit 4 times at reduced damage. And then the ranged cape has the same adrenaline reduction for Deadshot. However, this one causes it to deal more damage and extends the duration of the bleed it does. So they're, I'd say, pretty spicy. They do a fair amount of damage, and I'm sure players will enjoy that. The combined cape is a hybrid version of all of them. Has all of the abilities of all 3. So if you're in any kind of hybrid content, you don't need to change, and it just looks sick.
Okay, so dice for the new sword, and let me know in chat which one's your favorite, and also if you staff want to say who's your favorite too, then by all means.
Seeing a lot of love for Shadow.
Shadow is the best. It's insane.
That's our day.
Do you know what?
I'm
weirdly into Barrows.
And here's the pet, which I personally am a huge fan of. This thing looks freaking sick.
The little Zuck is obviously it's like action figure version of Zuck. He's ready to beat up some goblins or something. Yeah. So that way, you can go up to Zuck with little Zuck and your sword, and you have the 3 sides of the sword. You got
oh wow! I hadn't seen the prestige yet.
Really nice skin for him.
Very cool.
Then also up, we have Magma Tempest. It's a point and click ability. So players will use the bladed dive. This is similar, where you target an enemy or a tile
just to interrupt, we didn't mention, I don't think the ability was mentioned in the trailer, so you just mentioned it as like a passerby.
Mobile, it's not going to do much, but if you're getting something static, it's going to be a big ability to go to.
There you go.
You're going to see harm.
There it is in action.
That's just going to light up that area. Yeah, and that hits 8 times for, I think it's like 5 to 25%. So it's a big basic. Another Elder God book. Similar to previous books, there's a 6.6% chance of activating on hit. I've updated the tooltips for these, so they should all now tell you the correct chance to hit, including the last ones. Because I know there was some confusion between players on how often they hit. This, when active, when it triggers, it will increase the player's damage by 20%, similar to Berserk, but causing you to take 10% more damage for the duration. So it's like a mini Berserk essentially.
You weren't clear. What are the hard mode exclusive drops on what we've showed? Just to be absolutely clear for chat.
From what we've showed, the sword is the hard mode exclusive along with the combined cape. The standard capes are upgrades to your kiln capes, assuming you do the run without using checkpoints. And everything else is just you killed Zuck, here's a chance at loot. You can get the remainder.
Yeah, and there's one other last big piece of loot that I think people are probably not going to be expecting. So remember that Pontifex ring you've all been working so hard to upgrade? Well, in this front, it's going to be finally fully upgradable.
Obviously, this is the Ful Front, so you can fully upgrade your Pontifex ring. So essentially now it gives another buff to the Elder Troves that players are used to. These Troves will now be able to drop Quiver Fragments. Alongside this, players will now be able to overpower their Pontifex ring, which will allow them to have the benefits passively without wearing it. And maybe we should flick back to what I said a second ago, because I'm seeing some Quiver Pogs in chat.
Yeah, that was the plan. So Quiver what? Sponge? What does that mean? What?
With this update, we introduce Pernix Quiver Fragments and the Pernix Quiver. Pernix Quiver is what you want if you're ranging now. This is a brand new quiver with 2 ammo slots that will automatically swap to match your range style. So if you have a bolt and an arrow in there, when you switch to a bow, it will use the arrows. When you switch to a crossbow, it's going to use the bolts. And we're going to give you a nifty little ability that lets you swap between them as well. So if you have 2 sets of bolts in there, you can just tap an ability and it'll swap. And then the quiver also has a passive effect, whereby the max damage of your range abilities is increased by 4% against targets under 25% health. Sorry, yep. The quiver uses 100 fragments, and you get the fragments from tier 3 troves with a fully upgraded ring. You have a chance to get some. Sorry, just fucking butt in. I'm seeing some people asking if you can have multiple quivers. You can. However, when you unlock a quiver, it becomes untradeable. You can have multiple, it just means you'll have to buy multiple.
Alright, so that's pretty much the gist of it. We got a new tier 95 melee, 4 total new capes. One of them is only accessible in hard mode, so if you want that really cool looking one, you got to do the hard mode version, just get good. A new it looks pretty strong, a new insanely strong looking Mage Ability, which is a basic, and then we also have the Quiver upgrade for range, which also is going to buff damage even further. I mean, that's also forgetting the God book that's coming. Like, this front is going to be absolutely nuts. I hope I didn't miss anything. Let me know if you guys are excited for all these rewards down below. I know this live stream was super cool, but I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Goodbye.